Welcome to Trading Lounge and the commodities report. I'm going to start with Bitcoin. I'm just going to go over the big accounts here for a moment. First of all, the bad news, the good news and the bad news. So the bad news is that this move up here can be wave A, as you know, and a wave B in here. We could also put wave A over here. That's another little story, but an A and a B and then a C wave up here. And that's interesting because normally wave A and wave C would have equality to them, and they're pretty much the same size here. So that's in the game, and if that is an A, B, C pattern here, then we can come down much further. Now, obviously, that's not the narrative of the crypto market at the moment, with all the ETFs coming in and so on. But yes, I've still got to point that out that it is a three-wave move here, so it can be corrective. Put it that way. So it's too early to tell. Okay, so we don't have to get too concerned about that, but it does need to be noted. The second thing is that this move up here, you can put wave one here, you can put wave one over here and have an ABC here. That's a debate within itself. It doesn't really matter because we're still left with this move here. This move here as a wave three here, and coming back to, let's move this out of the way, this as a wave four here. It's possible because of the strength of the third wave here. It looks like a third wave, but the problem with it is that it's really the same size as this one here. So normally a third wave would be much longer coming. In fact, it normally sort of comes to the top over here for that. That would be the norm, and have this extended this length plus another 61.8%, so to speak. So it is a bit small for a wave three. Now, if it is a wave three, that means that we'll have a wave four here, and then we'll have a wave five here. This wave five needs to be smaller than wave three here, and that would make sense to me because of the 50,000 here, which is our main sort of level at this point, and the market has reacted from that 50,000 level here, or 49, whatever it is in here, very close anyway. And we'd always expect the market. I mean, 5 to me is the second strongest number in the market, so it doesn't matter if it's 5 cents or 50,000 or whatever, still 5, and it's playing out. In fact, this whole market is about this number 5 here. So that means that what I'm saying is that if the 50,000 is going to be a strong number, we're just going to get a push up like this, for the fifth wave, and then that would be fantastic because then we would have 5 waves up. So then we can look at the market being bullish at that point, and we can look for a wave 2 at that point. How far that pulls back is another story, but we'd be looking for a 5-3-5 zigzag structure within that. So it is possible to be a wave 3 here, and if it was going to be a wave 3 here, then the story is that it would pull back to the 38.2% retracement level there. You can, which is currently below that at the moment, but that's okay. It's sort of in that sort of space there, and it will move a little bit lower as well. So it brings it down a little bit further. So that is a little bit of an issue there. The other option for this, as we've talked about, is we can remove wave 3 here, and we can bring in wave 1 here, and remove wave 4 for a moment and bring in wave 2 here. And in this instance here, we can just take this bottom to top there, and we can put in our 50% and the magic 61.8% in there, and we could pull back into that space here for wave 2. That would also make sense. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and then heading up into a big bull market, because if we're going to be bullish, we'd be taking this top out. We'd be looking from 50,000. The levels to the upside is 5 and then 8. So 50,000, 80,000, and then 100,000 at that point. So it kind of makes good sense too to look at it like 1 and 2 there as well. Okay, so they're the 3 options. The ABC correction, and we have a bear market. That's not, we can't rule it out, put it that way. we can look at this as wave 3 here, or we can look at it as wave 1. That's the options of it. Then we need to go in and have a look at this structure here. And the first thing is that that I wanted to point out here is that, I mean, you would have been all up, and if you're in the Bitcoin market, you'll be all over the news about who's selling and who's buying and what's going on that front. But in terms of price action here, you can see something quite obvious here. When we got sold off from from the 50,000, didn't quite get to 50,000, but very, very close enough. So we see that profit taking there, and you would expect that. There's all different types of traders, and a lot of them would be, looking at that. But what I wanted to point out here is that you can see, even though it's not the end of the week at the moment, obviously, it's Wednesday, so we're sort of halfway through, but we're not seeing, we've got increased volume here, but these two bars here, as they come down, they're not really increased volume. Now, different providers of different data streams will be giving you slightly different prices, and probably different volume prices as well, and so on. So I should also have a look at the futures market as well on that note. In fact, I should just do that now. Actually. But what I want to point out is that the market is moving down, but we're not seeing increased volume in that moving down. But I do want to check the paper money here for a moment, so just bear with me here for a moment. So this one here, okay, so this is the futures market here. So we're also seeing, I thought that some of the big ETF folks would be selling some futures contracts on the CME to drive the price down to buy. That would be the normal thing to do, as such. But I don't think those, just because an ETF has been approved, a lot of them would have had things in the pipeline of getting organized, getting ready, and scraping the money off their clients and all of those sorts of things. So I think it'll take a little bit longer than one expects. So but anyway, we're not seeing a strong sell-off here, even though the price is coming down. Okay, now I just would like to go back to my other section here now, and yeah, so the price is moving down, but we're not seeing increased volume, so that's a good thing. Okay, we just don't know if it's 2 or 4 at this stage. So let's just go to the daily chart here next. So that's a little bit sort of messy, so we'll go in there a little bit further into this space. So let's just go let's go to 1 hour, shall we, see what we're up to date here. I think I might just go to the other charting program, but basically we can look at this in a couple of different ways. We could look at it, we talked about it yesterday a lot, so I won't harp on about it, but basically 1 and 2 in here. We can look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave. We could look at this as the 4th wave here and the 5th wave in here to make the A wave here. That's possible, even though it doesn't come as low as this one here, but that was rather spiky. If you remove that spike, then that would make the 5th wave quite nice. So an A and a B wave here, that's quite probable. It's something that we need to look at anyway. And then coming down here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then from here this is also 5 waves coming down, put that in here, and then wave 4 here, and then wave 5 coming in here. So I thought it would sort of gravitate around the 38, because that's we start to get in terms of the trading levels, that's the first minor level there, 38. You're going into group 2 there, so 36,500, 37,200 and 38,000 all make up group 2. Let me just have a look at my other Bitcoin chart here. So yeah, I can count it down as 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3, 4, 5 for wave A here, and a B wave over here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to come down here, and then we start to get into minor group 2 here, basically. So somewhere in there, close enough. So all this will be supportive area through here. Now, do I have this correct as an A and a B and a C here? Well, I don't know. I mean, this is extending out quite nicely here. This could be wave 1 here, and then wave 2 here, and wave 3 here, right? And then a wave 4 coming back up, and then a wave 5 coming down here. So that means we would end up with 5 waves to this point. Still doesn't mean that we're in a big bearish market at that point, but because we do get 5 waves here, then we'll get an ABC pattern over here pulling back up 50-60%, and then we'll get another 5 waves down here. So that will take us deeper into the 50-60% mark, and then that wave 2 that I was talking about over here, that could play out here for that. This wave 2 be over here for that. So we could view it like that, as you know, we could view it like that. So we just, you know, we just got to work through it. That's all. You know, there's nothing. No Elliott person will have a clear answer at this point for this. They might feel confident about it, and they may even get it right. But you know, it's all when I look at a sell-off, I always have a lot of patience. The first thing I wait for is to see if the move down is going to be in 3 waves or 5 waves, because there's about a dozen different types of Elliott corrections, and you know, having 5 waves down or 3 waves down, you can rule out sort of half of them at that point, you know. So look, there's still a long way to go with all of this, so we just got to chill and we'll just work through it. But in the meantime, we'll see a retest of 40,000, and then we'll see a move down into group 2 here. Okay, so that's Bitcoin, and now we come to the dollar. So this is interesting for me because it opens up the door for commodities. So once again, I just want to have a look at the bigger picture here, because it's quite possible where we got the B wave here, this is actually wave 1 here, with a wave 2 here, and we go up higher at that point. Now, I have no evidence of that, and the only thing that I sort of has got that case, a bullish case to it, is the milkshake theory probably, and also that you see, I don't need to go into a bigger picture here, but you see how low the volume is here? So this move down here is not really being supported by volume, you know. It's not increasing volume, so it kind of makes me think that the whole thing is corrective. But in the meantime, what we're actually playing for here is further downside, and what we need to understand here is this particular little correction here that we're getting very close to completing here. So this will be this correction here is the A wave here, the B wave in here somewhere, and the C wave here for wave 2. So it's a nice little ABC pattern. So we'll take that. We'll take that. We'll just go into the intraday here somewhere. Anywhere it's good. 2 hours. Is that okay? Yeah, let's do. So this is the wave 1 here with the A and the B, and the wave C coming up here. So we've been looking at this on this one here as 1 and 2 and 3 and ABC for 4 here, and then going up for 5. So I also want to go to my other chart here, and in this chart here, and just look at this again here. So this will be our wave 1 down here, and this will be our wave 2 up there, which we've got. There's a nice 5 waves here, so we can look at that as the wave A here, and then we can look at this here as the B wave and the C wave going up. Now, there's a couple of ways we can view this situation here. We can look at this as wave 1 here with wave 2 over here and put wave B here. That works, and that's probably the case. But we do have the nice 3rd wave here. And now we have a nice 4th wave, and yesterday we were talking about it moving up once it's finished. So an A wave, a B wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So that's clear as a bell. So we've got that nice ABC, nice and clear. And I haven't had time this morning to pull all this apart, but I was just assuming, which you know, is a little bit dangerous, but this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So one more move to the upside here to finish this off. I mean, it's quite possible that 2 is already in here, but I'm not that sort of fussed about it. What I want to see is a nice impulse wave to the downside, 5 waves to the downside. Then it tells me that top is in place, and then we can look to, if you wanted to, short under here for this. So that can be the end of the top, you know, the top of it here. This is interesting having this particular pattern here, because this ABC pattern here, because it's really exactly the same as the US 10-year yields here. So when we look at that here, it's the same thing. It's the A, the B, and the C wave here. So there may or may not be another little move up here. I haven't pulled this apart, and I haven't really got into this, I haven't had time, but it doesn't matter that much because we're not really trading the yields. But this is exactly the same. The dollar and the yields have exactly the same pattern. So we could take the dollar and the yields and revert that back into the bond market here as well, and look at this move down in reverse. It's an A and a B and a C, and another little move to come down to finish that off. So that's where all of those guys sort of lay out, you know. So just on the bigger picture here for the bonds here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then we're looking for an A wave and a B wave and a C wave up here for the B wave. I'm thinking this is just wave 1 here, as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up for the A wave and then back to the B wave. So I think we'll be here for a little while. It's quite possible to put the A wave here and the B wave stuck in here, but it's a little bit small, so I don't particularly, you know, want to give it some space. So it'll be something like this. So we're not, you know, this is the weekly chart here. Obviously you can see the volume coming in here, and on the daily chart we can sort of nail it down here, looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the A wave here, then the B wave and the C wave. So anyway, all the dollar, the bonds and the yields all have got the same internal pattern, so that will make life a little bit easier. And of course this will all translate to into currency pairs as well, and also it'll be helpful for the commodities that we're going to look at. So until I'm not going to make any calls on gold and silver, and I know where iron ore and these guys are. That's not the base metals, but the precious metals here, we don't want to make a call on it until we are done and dusted with the dollar here. So that means that this move to the upside here as wave 2, as this wave 2 for the Dixie here, up for the number 2 here. I need to confirm that we're getting 5 waves down here. If we're getting 5 waves down here, then we can go long in gold at that point, and silver. So we need that. That's the turn. That's the pivot, you know. And that will be, yeah, it will just translate into many things. So that said, let's go to gold. And as I mentioned with gold, we can look at gold going back. I haven't seen the monthly chart for a little while, so let's do that. And it goes way back over here. It goes back to, it's great that it's got all this history here for this. So I was looking at this. I was looking at this on log scale here, of course. So 1 and 2 here. So my count for gold's really quite bullish in the bigger picture. You know, it's not, I don't particularly take sides on Peter Schiff and red eyes on the Bitcoin and all the rest of it. I try to sort of just you know, I enjoy the entertainment of all of them. So but I just, as a charting Elliott Wave person, I just see this as wave 1 and 2 in the bigger picture here, and then wave 1 and 2 here, and this 5 waves that we're working with at the moment will also be wave 1 and 2. And I won't go into all that mess, but you know, just to keep pushing up. I mean, stock markets, you know, they kind of grow with the population growth. You know, obviously not all countries are having enough sex, so that could be a bit of an issue. But yeah, so here we've got 1 and 2, and we've got 3 and 4, and we're going up for wave 5 here. and then I'm going to look at that as being wave 1 and wave 2 here. So I'm not looking at this as, most people are looking at this as wave 3 and 4 here, and then a 3 and 4 here. I get it, you know, it's okay. I mean, and shit, it wouldn't be the first time I'm wrong. So anyway, not bothered too much. I always just go one step at a time and just try to be a bit of a scientist about it as much as I can. So we've got on the weekly the 1, 2, 3, 4 here. I think most Elliott people can agree with that. And then we've got 1 and 2 here. Now fifth waves can end in lots of different ways. You know, they can end in a sort of an ending diagonal, or but normally they're sort of up on sort of lower volume. But the main point here, there's a couple of points here really, is that we are looking at being at this 2000 here, which to me is a major trading level. And if you look at it, you know, you don't need to, you know, understand the trading levels too much, but you can see that it has been a glass ceiling here, and here it's made a bit more of an effort. It's got a higher, you know, higher low here from this one here, and it's spending a bit more time up here, but there's really a battle going on here with this, you know, but it's not sitting up there. And it, you know, it, to me, this is, you know, what I look for here is to take out the next high, to go long above here, or to go long above this high here, because then if it went high above this one here, then you would think that the market's actually proving to you that it's strong at that point, buying new highs. You know, and being long above a large number is kind of what you need to be doing, rather than being under it, because you can get squashed out. Sometimes you get away with it, buying under, you know, but just safety first is my policy for 24. So yeah, this here can be counted in different ways here, by the by. So if we go from here to a daily chart, so we can look at this as wave 1 here and 2 here. It's not really an issue. But I find here that, you know, this spike sort of bugged me a little bit. There is a count when you pull this apart here. It's quite possible to put this wave 1 up here and this wave 2 over here. There's a couple of ways that you could view all of this here. I don't particularly want to get into it. I mean, all I'm saying is that we just need to buy new highs. And the time to buy, before even that, is when this, you know, when this dollar, bringing the dollar back into the picture, when this, if this dollar tops and turns and we do get impulse waves down here, then we can start looking at building into gold and silver at that point. Now, gold and silver, I mean, gold and the US dollar can turn together on the day, and that's quite common. And then there are periods where, you know, there's no sort of match there at all for them, you know. So it does mean that gold could technically push up before, and has started to push up here, because it is a little impulse wave in here, by the way, push up before the dollar turns, you know. That's quite possible as well. So I'm aware of that. But at this stage, we're going to take that top out here as a long trade. But as it progresses, we'll end up having 5 waves up here. And we can look at this first little one here as wave 1. It's quite possible. It could still come down here further as well, because all of this, you know, none of this here really is a good fit. This is like 3 waves up here. This is not like, so this makes an A wave and that makes a B wave, but this certainly doesn't make a C wave here. Doesn't fit very well. I can force it, but you know. So what I'm waiting for is a little 5 waves here, and then we'll just go along on the B wave here for that. So it's not there yet. It's a bit like GDX, you know, you really want it sitting on, you know, it's moved down, you know, it's quite extreme, but it's not finished moving down just yet. I'm not going to go into it today. I'm just going to look at silver. And silver's the same thing as well. We've got a couple of counts here, of course. The weekly one's a bit more accurate, I have to say, even though it's a bit messier. But we've got this triangle pattern here as, you know, an A wave up here for this and then an A, B, C, D, and E. I mean, it looks, you know, it's messy enough to be a triangle. They're in sort of three waves and so on, you know. So your three waves, this is a corrective pattern in here. That's a corrective pattern to the upside. This one here is corrective. This has got overlapping wave structures here. That's 5 waves in here. So it could be an A, B, C for the A, the B, and the C. So it's kind of fitting a nice thing, but we should be bouncing very short. I mean, we'd bounce off the $20 mark anyway, but the thing is that I still want to wait for the dollar to play in here, but probably the optimum price would be at $20 for this. I won't go into the daily chart because it's looking at it in more of a bullish light, and we'll just wait for this to play out. So it just, you know, this is coming down. This is coming down here, and it's also on lower volume as it's coming down. So that's price divergence, and yeah, on the weekly. So look, it's just not quite ready just yet. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that, and we're going to go over to the base metals now. So we've got, I'll just go to the daily chart here for this. So there is a bearish picture and there is a bullish picture here for this, and the bearish picture is that we can look at this as some sort of A wave here, and then an A wave up here, and then I can look at this here as some sort of A wave here, and then an A, B, C for the B wave here, because this is in 5 waves here, and if that's a B wave here, then we'll come down here in 5 waves to this C wave here, which would give me this B wave here. So it would be an A, and then an A, B, C for the B wave, and then up for the C wave. So it's going to be some weird thing. The only thing that I could see that we could use to trade on, and I'm not talking about trading copper as such. I would rather use it to trade, you know, big copper stocks. But this little move here, we have 5 waves in this. This also looks like 5 waves here. So we're just being, you know, we could see that it was consolidating on these lows here, so we figured that it will push up, and iron ore will do the same as well, and they're doing it. And so this move up here, we're not going to trade it or chase it. It's probably just a B wave because it looks impulsive here, so an ABC pattern here. The other side to this, of course, is that this move down here could end up being a 3rd wave down, and then a 4th and a 5th, and then going up from that point. That's the thing with it at this point. So we're just waiting to see. Doesn't really matter. We're not sort of doing much with it, but it does affect the big copper stocks of the world. And we go over to iron ore, and iron ore on the daily chart here. We can have a look at it on the. Oh, we don't need to go there. We can just look at it here. So I kind of like it. We've got this nice A, B, and C wave here. Maybe I need to bump that up to primary degree, but you know, doesn't matter too much. So we've got wave 1 here and 2 here, and then we're going from wave 2 here, we're going to go up to wave 3 and 4 and 5 up here. Anyway, a larger impulse wave. So I see iron ore bullish, and of course, you know, infrastructure around the world needs iron, and so it's a good indication of what's happening. And in this, from wave 2 to wave 3 here, we've got 1 and 2, and then 3, 4, 5, so 5 waves of minor degree inside the intermediate degree here, and then we've got the smaller 5 waves happening here to make wave 3 here. So just opening this up here a little bit, it's very much like copper. So we've got we've got 5 waves down here by the looks of it, and looking for a B wave to go back up, and then a C wave here for this wave 4 to sit here, and then we'll go up. So it's still this same pattern here, and this is important for the Rios and Vales and FMGs and all those around the world. So that's where it is there, you know. Support here, market's moving up, volume diminishing as it's moving up. So, you know, volume confirming price action as wave B. So anyway, no big deal there. Then we come over to uranium, and as I mentioned before, I've got this back in 2020 here. We've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, so wave 1 and 2 here, and then we've got an ABC here for wave 2, then one ABC for wave 2 here. So we're in a big trend here, you know. So yeah, so kind of reminds me of this trend coming up here. Reminds me of the Nasdaq and the other stocks, tech stocks, because they'll be coming up for wave 1. They've got 3 and 4 to go here. In fact, they've actually got another little push up here, those stocks, and then they'll have some sort of correction here, and then push up at that point. So we do have positions in here somewhere, and on the other chart, but not worried about them. All I've said to you before is that you know, that across the $30 mark here, we're going to be there for some time, you know. So nothing really to be had here. There's probably another little move up here for this. It's a bit tricky to see in here. We did look at the biggest stock for this, and it was also a little bit, we could see the wave 4 here, but it was a bit hard to figure out, you know, what this was. But the fact that it's moving down here kind of gives me the idea that the top is in sort of play here, but it won't be there for long. It'll just be some sort of thing, you know, and then up again. Then we come over to crude oil, and yeah, so don't need this at the moment. So yeah, look, we're expecting it to push up. We can do a short trade here. This whole pattern here is also exactly the same as the US dollar here. So we're looking for the US dollar to top here, as we just talked about. So once that top's there, coming back to crude, that will, where's crude? So crude will do the same. So it can make one more little high here or something or other, and then fold over and come down. That's what we're looking at. I'm not going to go in here and count any of that. That's not worried about that. So the 72 here, if you know me, I love 72 and the nineness of it all, I guess, if you understand that. So the short trade here would be, for me to, you know, to be safe, I want to see an impulse wave down from wherever this top comes into play. There'll be this, and then the first low below the level here, and then we can look to short over here for that, you know. So the good old classic trading levels pattern at that point, and that would be that. And NYMEX here, so I don't really know the bigger picture here for this. There's a couple of ways that it could play out. All of this ABC that we were looking up here before to look at it as wave 4, it could be wave 4, but it could also be that this is an A wave here with an A and a B and a C wave for a B wave down here somewhere. So an A, B, C for a B wave, and then up for a C wave here. I mean, we wouldn't expect it to go too much lower, surely, you know what I mean? It's already at a reasonable sort of price. But who knows? What we can see here, the move down here is coming down on lower volume at the moment. So so it means that the sellers are drying up, and there's going to be a bounce off this little area through here. It could probably come down a bit further to bounce off this low here, but it probably eventually even just pushed through it there. I was looking at it on my natural gas chart here, just trying to drill in on this chart. Don't pay too much attention to things here, but where are we? I was just trying to count it down as from the top here, and this is also another issue as well. The top here is different from the spot market and the other markets as well. So I can see that this is one leg, and this is separate leg, and this is all part of the same family here, this whole leg here. So this move here is actually part of this move, where this one is completely different. So I was sort of thinking that we would end up with some sort of wave 4, wave 5, wave 4, and wave 5 to finish this off here. I don't see any decent trading in here. It is also possible to count this a slightly different way, so I'll point that out to you. It's just wave 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, 4 here, and then 5 waves down to to there. So that could be the low at this point. That's also possible. It's a little bit flimsy on the look and the feel of it. and there's no way I'm going to trade it long off the low there without a nice impulse wave to the upside. So I'm going to not get involved in that. So yeah, look, that's it really in a bit of a nutshell. I mean, I see sort of most of the game, whichever way you want to play, is dependent on the US dollar as sort of usual. So we need to confirm that this is actually you know, a nice ABC wave to the upside here, you know, as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave to the upside. Because we have to get past that first before we can really do a lot, you know. If it is corrective to the upside, then, you know, we'll be coming down here. But we have to confirm that, you know. I'm not gonna sell at the top there. That's a bit of a mug's game. So this could, you know, this could play out as a bullish move. I mean, if I was looking at the long side, because if I was going to go short, right, I want to know what the long side is, you know. And the long side would be that we would get the 5 waves up there, and then we can go long above the top there. And if this was going to be like this here, would be a classic trading levels pattern, the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level. So on the long side, it would be this here, the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the long side. Then we'll need an ABC pattern here, and then we'd need to come back over here for this, you know, to be on the long side. So it would change everything, you know. This could get, it could be 3, 4, 5 here, then an ABC pattern here, and then another 5 down here, and then push up to that point. So this is what we've got to kind of work through, you know. I need to know, you know. It's normally, this would find support on this one over here, on the 2 here for this, but this would be the long trade over here. So we've got a fair way to go before we can really confirm that there's a top in play. But it's, you know, having the first impulse wave down here gives us a 50-50 chance at that point, you know. It's only really over once we get this 5 waves down here that we would be, you know, in the high 90s of actually having a further move down here. We may be able to pick it up on some of the other markets, on the Loonie and a few other things, you know, but normally when you're looking for leaders, you can't find one, you know. They're all waiting for the same thing right down to the line. So anyway, yeah, this is the most sort of important point in the markets at the moment in my little grey cells. Alrighty, cheers.